Welcome to the Center for Work and Family Life's Thriving Thursdays, taking place the first Thursday of every month. We're so excited to be back after taking a short break over the summer. So welcome, I'm Julie Chabdi, Health and Wellbeing Program Manager in the Center for Work and Family Life, and it's such a pleasure to spend the next 50 minutes with all of you today. A few housekeeping items before we get started. We would like to invite you all to stand if you're able to and stretch anytime during today's presentation. So feel free to get up, move around, and shake it out. Please mute your audio to minimize any background noise, and we'll open it up for Q&A at the end. But you can use the chat function to make comments or ask questions, and we'll assist in responding throughout the session. And this webinar is being recorded and will be archived on the Center for Work and Family Life's website for you to view afterwards and share with your colleagues. So I'll turn it over to Cindy, Dr. Cindy Ryan, to kick us off.
All right. Thank you, Julie. This is wonderful to be back for Thriving Thursday. And thanks to Julie, we had a wonderful series over the summer that really enriched us and propelled us toward wellness. And we're really furthering that mission along. So in the next 3 months, you will hear some wonderful presentations as we go forward and build this into our way of life. So for our next slide, I'd like to give us our agenda. I'm Cindy Ryan with the Center for Work and Family Life Program Manager. I have my PhD in clinical psychology and with an emphasis in organizational development. And I have been working in the field of employee assistance for over 30 years and really specializing in consultation and counseling, coaching, and training. So, I'm lucky that I get a chance to work with Julie because she brings such tremendous skills to us as well. And so, Julie, share with us about you.
Great. Thank you so much, Cindy, and pleasure to work with you as well. So I've been with USC for, 9 months now, and in my role, I'll be working with campus partners and key stakeholders to design a healthy campus initiative and framework for improving health and well-being for USC faculty and staff, and creating a healthy work, learning, and living environment. Previously, I worked at UC Riverside for 12 years, managing their faculty and staff wellness program and co-chairing UCR Healthy Campus. I've also held several leadership roles within the UC system with their Healthy Campus Network and the smoke tobacco-free policy implementation. I worked as a wellness manager for Johnson & Johnson and received my master's and my bachelor's from UCLA, and now I'm really happy to be part of the Trojan community. So I'll turn it back to Cindy to kick us off.
Thank you. Well, this is our Wheel of Wellness. And for those of you who don't know or may know, but not always aware or be sure, this is the whole range of care that we provide. So we want to emphasize that we are all partners together. We are all in a community of caring and promoting our wellness together. So to remember that we can be offered at any point in time. We are a highly confidential and 24-hour support service for you as employees, faculty, physicians, staff, and we can be there if ever needed. So these are our key elements. We provide the short-term, solution-oriented counseling. We provide support for various life transitions. We know our benefits well. We can access them and refer you to those if needed. So we want to sort of be your backup, part of your wellness program. As I mentioned, we do coaching. We are all trained in coaching services where we provide leadership development and enhance those who want to promote their own careers and grow in that fashion. Workplace consultations is a big part of it, and we want to encourage all levels, supervisors, leaders, managers, to utilize consultation, because sometimes we're just kind of working and worrying about a concern, a situation. We just needed a thought partner, someone to think things through with in order to assist. And as Julie mentioned, she is our champion for health and well-being. We are really sort of launching so many initiatives that are fun and exciting and can bring wellness to your life. And ultimately, like today, we're doing training. So think of us as really kind of a multi-service approach. And so for you to see our staff, you can see who we all are. You're welcome to go on and see our bios and what we provide. But we really see ourselves as support providers. We're resource people, and we are there to be responsive to what you might need 24/7. So never too early, never too late. Always think and pass the word along, and people will know that you care when you do so. So let's go into our theme for today, because we've been talking about this for a long time. Changes and managing all the new developments and new initiatives and so many things coming around the bend. And when we thought things were going to be one way, they transitioned into another. So we began to look at this in terms of, well, how do we get through this whole concept of change and transition, and what does it take to get through that? So our goals for today are to sort of let's take a look at that kind of motivation, that it takes to sustain ourselves, because this is really building for how we get through all these seasons ahead with energy and with vitality and well-being. So the thought for the day that I'd like to share comes from a wonderful young woman who does a lot of inspirational writing, and has developed initiatives and programs. And so she's quite herself an achiever. But her statement really captures a lot, that every achiever knows the power of motivation. And I think we really operate on that. How many times have we heard that idea of like, well, I'd love to do that, but I just don't know if I'm motivated, or I'm not sure how I'll get motivated toward that effort. And sometimes we sort of overlook how our motivation is in practice and works for us. And sometimes we just want to know, how do we grow and develop that sense of motivation? So that's where I'm going to jump in right now and start thinking about that realm in your life. So as kind of a recap, I'll go in our next slide to see, where have we been? We talked about, well, we need to restore ourselves. We need to recharge. We were built on resilience ideas. We talked about restarting and how do we re-energize and how do we grow forward? And ultimately, how do we sustain? So I'm looking at this a little bit in the past tense, because we did fulfill a lot of strength and ability and success. And we have extended so much appreciation to others and everyone, and access our best abilities and maintain adaptive, positive, new routines, things we had to adjust to quickly. We did, we recentered and we went forward. And all of these are the result of motivation. We had found motivation within to make it so, to make it happen. And so even as we're, evaluating ourselves and our values around well-being, we're looking at how open communication and integrity and diversity and inclusion, these all become, again, motivators for us. We may see these things in our lives and what we're a part of that really propel us and really motivate us forward. So let's go a little further and see, okay, well, we've been talking about well-being and we've had tremendous resources, and we want to be a healthy person, a healthy physical well-being, and how do we want to develop healthy career life? Well, let's look at healthy work life. And that should tell us a little bit more about what we're learning. And these have been defined as elements for a healthy work life. And are they not also real motivators for us in our work? Are we not sometimes striving for respect, for appreciation, for recognition, support, gratitude? Do we want to feel cared for by where we work and who we work for? So what we begin to see is not only the very elements that create a healthy work life are oftentimes the things that are motivators for ourselves in our work. And so just to acknowledge, the incredible abilities you have, even reflecting on, what you bring to the table is really valuable and important. And that, throughout these months and all of that we have learned and been through in COVID, that people are incredibly hardworking, incredibly dedicated, and feeling tremendous values of loyalty and dedication in their career life and with each other. That we've really demonstrated a lot of strength. And sometimes we didn't even know how strong we were until we got into a situation and we came through. So it's knowing that strength and that stamina and that flexibility is all there, and how we've persevered and how we've made that commitment. So I'd like you to consider, what are those motivators? Oftentimes I've heard many times people say they want to feel a sense of purpose. They want to do something for the greater good. They want to be a good provider. They want to create opportunity for family and future. So understanding what your needs are and your motivators are part of how we grow and sustain our energy. Because ultimately, if we are fulfilling, those motivations in our career life, yes, we replenish along the way. So let's look at what change has been like. What is this kind of roller coaster of change have we been through, and what has this been about? And William Bridges, in a number of his books on transitions, talks about these things. And we know we arrived at that point where we were told, okay, we've got to change. And these were situational and they were external, and they changed what we had to focus on and what we had to do. And we went into gear and we became highly adaptive and we adjusted and we were responsive. And so that's really a part of what happens with change. And as we grow through transition, we realize we're sort of in an internal process. We're sort of shifting into, okay, now we're in the routine. This is how I work from home. This is how I work from work. We kind of have that sense of connection to being motivated to adjust. And it's more from within and from in, like, okay, this is how we do this now. And a natural progression, and what I kind of want to bridge to, is the natural progression will be transformation. And we may begin to look at transformation as things go along here. That part of this is going to be activating. Well, I adjusted to new things here. I incorporated new ways of being. And now I'm thinking of things that I would want to fulfill, new ideas, things I'd want to create, change I'd want to affect in some way. And so out of that, maybe preparing that a natural progression of this is coming toward transformation. Like, what do we want to begin to make happen? And so I'm going to kind of put us in a little bit of a reflective mode here. And I'm going to ask you to take maybe a piece of paper, or if you have something that you would want to write on, and take a bit of time to look at, maybe some reflective questions that I'll bring to you now. So in our next slide, you'll see we're going to take a moment with Maggie. And Maggie is very sweet. And this sort of represents that sometimes we just need to pause. We just need to say, okay, if you were really considering what is your inspiration from her, what motivates you, what's that thing that you remember maybe when you were a kid or as a young adult or at any age or stage, and you just felt like, yeah, I want to do this. This is something I am really ready for. So we're going to go through just a few of those questions. So the next slide in our progression is going to say, let's think about this. Remember a time when you felt fully motivated? Was it something that you were creating? Was it something that you were doing? Was it something that you were fulfilling that you'd always wanted to do? Did you make something happen that you didn't know you could do? What was it that brought you through just to feel like, yeah, I'm going to stay with this. I'm not going to give up. I'm not going to let go of this. You know? And there are times when we think of this as a dream, but there's some things in it that are the things you just really want to do. And that's a very powerful energy. That's the energy of motivation and how we give ourselves permission to do so. So current literature, I'll kind of give a little recap. Current literature-wise, the Harvard Business Review recently did an article in the July-August edition because they were talking about the elements of motivational change power. And so I'd like us to think about that a little bit. Sometimes we just underestimate, that power from within that you can use. So the next slide will give us some guidance on that. And here, we're going to see what elements there are and what are action steps we can do. Now, I want to take a little quick sidebar for a moment because we're talking about motivational energy that helps us in a path of really transforming. And there's a whole realm of literature around transformational leadership. And I would say I haven't really met too many that haven't been leaders in one form or another here. A thought leader, a friend leader, a project leader, a formal leader. We all have some leadership within ourselves. So I would say find out some about this. Transformational leadership puts things in practice so that when that energy comes about, we will all promote it together. So it begins with a sense of belonging, which I think we can really be inspired by the Trojan family and all that we do, all the traditions and all the incredible events that go along. A direct purpose into a plan. I think most people are very organized. Achievers like to make lists and figure out what they can do to check off the list because it feels, fulfilling to get some things done. And people are very dedicated to that productivity. To tap into our social connections as influencers. And I think we're in a real realm of media and we sensitive to all that sort of influencing aspect, but be that positive influencer, be that one that represents, those values, those intentions that you want to create. Create capacity for new ideas. This is really important in transformational leadership. Accept all ideas. It's yes, and it may not be yes, but it might be yes, and we could also think of that, and we could also add to that, so that we build on that energy momentum, and that's motivating. It motivates us to think even more innovatively. To be mobile, responsive as we have been, communicating frequently. I think there's this wonderful balance now in our hybrid. We can come to work, we can interface, we can chit chat down the hallway, and that's fun. And then we have time at home. We know we have certain projects we can do. We've really diversified all the ways in which we can communicate. So share openly and often, and be open to innovation. Just think about, all the amazing things that you have really already designed and already adapted and already brought into your way of life, whether it's finding a good route of driving to work, to finding new places to go and have a nice lunch, to, just ways you want to set up your work environment at home and at work. So create that no fear approach. It could be, why not? Why not try it? We could all see how it feels and then trust that we are giving that utmost support to one another to figure out the next step and develop our learning, build on learning. This is one of the tremendous strengths that this whole community lives by, is learning from each other about what can we know, what can we grow. We can really build on that. And, it really means, asking, what did we learn the last time we did that? We can be the good archive of what we learned along the way. And again, it's that open mindset, that very important mindset that says, well, let's try, let's see. Things could go well, we might learn something. We'll have to go and find out. And ultimately, I think it's keeping that sense of progression forward. Transformation is progressing forward, and it's like, okay, let's see what's new, what's next. So in our next slide, we're going to kind of talk a little bit about, well, what does it really feel like when we're in this place of transformation? And there are kind of stages of it that have a real normal, natural progression. I mean, sometimes you can feel like there's so much going on. There's so many ideas. So there's so many possibilities. How and where do we begin? And so it's okay just to sort of know that's what it is. It's just that moment where it is a lot. And I think, as I've said before, being realistic is productive. We can say, wow, realistically, this is a lot. Don't know if we'll do it all, but it's good to know and good to have. And that achievers will seek to learn from it. That's definitely part of that progression. And that we're inherent problem solvers. We're always liking the challenge of like, okay, I figured this out. Let's try this, and staying flexible as we have to figuring it out. And sharing all the ideas, sharing the stories, the discoveries, the things you figured out that you'd like other people to know and be a part of as well, because that's nurturing our community. And then ultimately we're wanting to inspire one another, through a variety of ways: gratitude, appreciation. I would say, leaders, look at transformational leadership. Come through, meander, walk through hallways, check in, say to your staff, hey, what have you discovered lately that's been really helpful? Find out, because there's just tremendous, tremendous resource there within. And just sort of in closing, I will just say, develop your self-care plan. Take care of you and your inspiration. Increase your positive influences and be one too. And doing what you love to do and expressing your positive values. And we're really fortunate, now to sort of see well-being as our emphasis, because we can take this as energizing yourselves for positive motivation. And so I'm really glad that Julie is here, and she can really keep us sort of informed and sustained with how do we keep going and keep our positive motivation strong as well. So thank you. And Julie, you can take it from here.
Great. Thank you so much, Cindy. Such great information for all of us on how we can restore, energize ourselves, and really sustain as we move forward during these challenging times. So I'll be covering some practical and actionable ways for you to create and sustain healthy habits. And the first area is around nutrition, and that's using food to energize your life through healthy beverages, meals, and snacks. So whether you're working remotely or in the office, it's important to enjoy healthy meals and snacks to nourish your body and your mind, and to provide you with energy to be productive and to feel good. Working from home can be challenging with the kitchen around the corner, and some of you may be working in the kitchen. And for those of us who are back in the office, we're probably eating out more, enjoying lunch and happy hour with coworkers, grabbing a quick bite on campus. So here are some helpful tips to consider as you plan your meals. Eat a wholesome, balanced diet. Focus on fruits, vegetables, whole grains, lean proteins, healthy fats, and dairy for those who eat dairy. And practice portion control. That's always really, really important. And keep healthy foods visible and ready to eat. So that might mean pre-washing your fruit, cutting up your veggies, putting the whole grain crackers in the front of your pantry, and hiding the chips and cookies towards the back. In addition to your healthy meals and snacks, don't forget to hydrate and bring a reusable water to campus. And we have so many hydration stations that you can use to fill up while you're here at USC. When you're on campus, plan a portable healthy lunch and keep it insulated in a lunch bag, and also considering storing non-perishable snacks in your desk drawer or in your car for your commute. Meal planning is really important as it saves time, money, and makes it easy to eat healthy, whether you're at home or making a lunch to bring to work. So look at what you already have in your pantry and your fridge. What is it that you enjoy or what your family might want? And from there, create a grocery list. At the grocery store, we advise that you shop the perimeter of the store since that's where all the nutritious foods are located. And you can also batch cook. So make multiple days worth of food and then portion out single servings so that you have meals ready when you come home for dinner or to bring to lunch the next day. And of course, having leftovers is really important. Just make sure you keep it safe in an insulated lunch bag or the fridge. So you can make batch staples like veggies, steamed rice, potatoes, baked chicken, and then mix and match with different sauces, different ways that you can use the ingredients throughout the week. So here's a list of healthy snacks based on what you're craving. So if you're craving something sweet, you might look at some fruit or graham crackers, fig bars, maybe something salty like pretzels, beef jerky, air pop popcorn. On cold days, these upcoming winter days, you might want a warm or hot snack like sugar-free apple cider, vegetable soup. And when it's hot out there, you might want a cold snack like frozen yogurt, sugar-free iced tea, maybe some cold veggies dipped in hummus. So some great ideas here for you to plan out your healthy snacks. The next area is about staying active with movement and physical activity, which benefits both your mind and your body. And as a standard of measure, the recommended physical activity guidelines is to aim for 30 minutes of cardiovascular aerobic activity, 3 to 5 days a week, and 2 days a week of strength training. So throughout the day, take short stretch breaks. I always recommend every hour, getting up and moving for 3 to 4 minutes. Stand up during meetings, during Zoom calls, and get on campus and move. Check out this beautiful campus that we have. Invest in a standing desk or riser so that you can stand during the day. And plan and schedule activities with friends, family, and coworkers. You can also break up your sessions into smaller sessions throughout the day and multitask, such as when you're watching TV. Take advantage of all the great fitness resources we have here on campus through rec sports and also the surrounding LA community. There's so many local gyms, studios, places to hike and bike, and outdoor activities to explore. To support all of you to move more at USC, we're working on a campaign with resources that will be communicated in the next few months. It will include fitness classes that we can bring to you in partnership with the Rec Center, ways to stretch at your workstation, movement options on campus, and also assessing your interest in walking groups. So if you're interested in committing to being a walk leader and getting more steps in your day, reach out to me and we'll see what we can do to coordinate something. And the final area is sleep, something we all don't get enough of. And adequate sleep allows us to have more energy, make better decisions, be more mentally alert, and improve our efficiency and productivity. Did you know that according to the National Sleep Foundation, the average American feels tired at least 3 out of 7 days a week, if not more? So here are some tips for better energy and better sleep hygiene. Stick to a schedule and try to sleep and wake up the same time every day, even on weekends. A regular sleep schedule will help regulate your body's clock and help you sleep throughout the night. So aim for 7 to 8 hours a night and practice a relaxing bedtime ritual away from bright lights. This will separate your sleep time from activities that might cause excitement or stress or anxiety, making it harder to fall asleep. Evaluate your sleep environment and your room to make sure it's ideal. Temperature should be around 60 to 67 degrees, and make sure your bedroom is free of lights and sound that can interrupt sleep. Check your mattress and pillows and make sure they're supportive and comfortable. Mattresses usually last around 9 to 10 years, and pillows should be comfortable and inviting, but stay away from allergens that might affect your sleep. When winding down and shifting your body into sleep mode, participate in calming activities such as reading and avoid electronics. which will help you or make you not sleep throughout the night. Also avoid large meals, alcohol, caffeine, or exercising too close to bedtime, which can also disrupt your sleep quality. So now I'd like to share a resource that we recently released through the Center for Work and Family Life, and it is our Health and Wellbeing Resource Directory. We've created this directory, which is available on our website and also through Employee Gateway, and Suzanne has placed that in the link for all of you to see. It's basically an inventory and collection of all the health and well-being resources available to USC faculty and staff, separated by different well-being domains. The collection highlights the collaboration and partnership networks throughout USC in support of USC's mission and core value of well-being. So here's a look at the 8 well-being domains that our resources fall under: physical, emotional, social and community, purpose and spiritual, environmental, sustainability, occupational and intellectual, financial and legal, and safety support and compliance. So in the next slide, I will briefly go over each of the definitions. And as I do, think about your own personal and professional life and which area or areas you want to focus on in the immediate future. Once you identify the areas of focus, use our resource directory and see what's available here at USC to support your well-being journey. So physical well-being, that entails the balance of nutrition, physical activity, and routine medical care, focusing on healthy habits and behaviors that reduce the risk of illness and improve quality of life. Some example of resources we have here at USC is the Occupational Therapy's Lifestyle Redesign Programs, Keck Medicine's Nutrition Services, dining and hospitality and all the options they have here on campus that are healthy, Rec Sports and all the amazing facilities, classes, personal trainings that they offer, and our health plans. For emotional well-being, that encompasses being aware of feelings and thoughts, whether they're positive or negative, and learning to cope with the challenges that life brings. It includes self-esteem, self-acceptance, optimism, and developing inner resources to learn and grow. And of course, our Center for Work and Family Life encompasses these different areas and provides the services to support you, as well as behavioral health resources through our health plans. Social well-being involves developing and maintaining positive relationships with friends, family, coworkers, and really the larger community, focusing on social support and volunteer opportunities, resiliency, and there are so many ways to get involved through on-campus and off-campus organizations, affinity groups, staff assembly, and maybe just volunteering for the local LA community. Purpose and spiritual well-being encompasses values, principles, morals, and beliefs that guide our actions and allows us to create meaning to life events and find purpose in our life. And we have resources here such as the Office of Religious Life and Mindful USC. Environmental well-being embodies living in harmony with our social and built environments, emphasizing the connection between our surroundings and our well-being, and allowing for healthy areas in which we work, live, and play. And we have a great resource through the Office of Sustainability, EH&S, and Ergonomics. Occupational well-being involves preparing and making use of skills and talents in order to gain purpose, happiness, and enrichment, and really looking at career fulfillment through a positive attitude, satisfaction, and pleasure in employment. HR, professional development opportunities are abundant here at USC. Financial well-being entails financial literacy, the ability to manage money effectively, and plan for a fiscally sound future. And legal well-being involves having knowledge and access to resources to support legal issues such as estate planning, wills, divorce, custody issues. And we have such great legal and financial benefits through HR. And then finally, the safety, support, and compliance well-being refers to individual and organizational practices and policies that promote optimal health and productivity, limits hazards, and mitigate crises. And we have our campus support and crisis intervention group, as well as ethics and compliance, and the Department of Public Safety. So there's so many resources here available to you. And if we have time later, I can take us through the resource directory. But in the interest of time, I highlight a lot of resources that you can find when you're looking through the directory. And just the last 2 slides, a quick plug to promote the current Fight On Football Wellness Challenge. USC faculty and staff and retirees are invited to participate in this 8-week football themed challenge to encourage you to support and practice and adopt health promoting behaviors and a healthy lifestyle. The challenge kicked off officially on September 27th and ends on November 19th, but it's not too late to join, and we have over 800 participants to date. Once you register, you'll receive a game card and challenge rules, and you can scan that QR code, or Suzanne's dropped the link in the chat. And once you register, you get your game card. You complete as many activities as you can to earn touchdowns towards rewards. The more touchdowns you earn or score, the greater your chances are of winning one of several raffle prizes. And here's a sneak peek at the program materials that you'll receive upon enrollment. So we hope to see you all in this challenge. Thank you for attending, and I'll turn it back over to Susan to facilitate our Q&A. I think we have about 6 minutes or so, and I'll stop sharing. That way we can all see each other. So I don't know where Susan is. I'll open it up to any questions, comments from the group. Anything that anyone wants to share or ask of us. Anything on the materials or maybe some of the resources? Feel free to put it in the chat if you don't want to speak up, since I know a lot of people may not want to unmute.
And are we good with recording, or you want to keep on going?
Yeah. We'll pause for a few more minutes to see if there's any questions or comments from the audience.
All right.
Or were Cindy and I super thorough that there's no questions at all?
Well, think about you and what you love to do and your self-care, and come together with these wonderful ideas from Julie that can sort of customize our well-being for our future and our lives and our career and home and family. So share that with others, share that with us. You know, we always say, you know, we get good ideas from one another.
Great.
All right.
Well, look for future programs and announcements from the Center for Work and Family Life. We have great information, a great staff to support your health and well-being here at USC, and hope you enjoy the session, and there'll be many, many more, and spread the word to your colleagues. And thank you for attending today.
Thank you, Ellen.
Right.
She said excellent sessions. Thanks.
Thank you for that feedback, Ellen.
See you next month for Thursday.
Bye.